Welcome to Courage on the Rocks, a space where stories flow like a good glass of whiskey. We're two best friends pulling back the curtain on all the conversations that usually happen behind closed doors.
From grief and love to dating, friendship, motherhood, and all the chaos of life in your 30s. We're diving into it all with honesty, humor, and a splash of courage.
This podcast is about real stories, ours, yours, and the incredible people we'll meet along the way. Whether you're here for inspiration, a fresh perspective, or just to hear from someone who gets it, we're glad you're with us.
So grab your favorite drink, hit play, and join us as we navigate the highs, the lows, and everything in between, one episode at a time. All that rock climbing?
Yeah. I was like, do I show up in my chalk?
Yeah, you still do.
Right?
I can't believe you guys did that at 11. That's great. 5:11. That's great.
We didn't finish it.
Oh, I thought you did. You said you were working on it.
It's still a project.
I thought it was.
No.
Oh,
It is really hard.
a work in progress.
Yeah,
Oh,
it is
okay.
very much a work in progress.
Last I heard, I thought like you tried it the last time already, and
We
then you
didn't
tried it.
complete.
Okay,
I
tried it
got
again.
farther up this time.
Yeah.
But no,
Yeah. All right.
no, it's really hard. But I was thinking like, tell me you're a rock climber without telling me you're a rock climber.
Yeah.
And then it's like,
Chalk.
I literally showing up to record and covered in chalk right now.
It's okay.
But
Okay. We got a cat here.
Parker's like, no one can smell you, so it's fine. Like,
Actually, he's very wise about that one.
right? Can you smell me?
I'm just gonna scoot over here.
Hey, I missed
No.
you. It's okay.
Disgusting.
I legit doubled up on deodorant. So.
No, I was just out in the yard working, so I think
Oh.
we equal each other
Oh.
out. Is that
We
you?
do balance.
Or me?
It kind of like blends
Right.
together. I think
Ooh, a
it's
bunch
okay.
of yumminess right here.
Well, welcome to Courage on the Rocks.
Yay! Another episode.
I was on the rocks earlier this morning.
Yeah.
We have a root beer on the rocks in our cups.
So good. Olipop.
Yeah, healthy root beer soda.
Yeah.
And these adorable cups. Oh my god. We're
Thank you,
cup
Starbucks.
people,
We are.
obviously.
We're glass
Yeah.
cups and everything.
Yeah. So what are we doing today?
Oh gosh. We are. What are we talking about? I know what we're talking about. we know what we're talking about. We're just gonna pick our
Procrastinating.
yeah.
Okay.
Put our big girl pants on and just sit in it.
I feel like we've been talking about things that were kind of safe for a while.
Yeah.
Right.
For the
And
past
then
few
like,
weeks, yeah.
and then now we're kind of dipping our toe back into things that don't feel safe anymore to me.
Yeah.
So I'm a little like nervous, to be quite honest.
I am, but I'm also. I think it was okay, like bringing up this episode in conversation was that post that you put on Instagram, like that just
Oh.
resonated so much with everyone, and I was just like, we gotta tap more into it because I feel like people
Yeah.
don't show when they have that traumatic loss and when they have those kind of things. Like you
Yeah.
said, it's hidden, it's private, it's
Yeah.
so individualized of a grief and
Yeah.
mourning period. Like no one talked about it as openly as you have done.
Yeah.
But that's because also like you put in the 2.5, 3 years of work.
Yeah, it's been
You
a
know.
lot of work.
Yeah.
Which post specifically are you referring to?
Okay, the one where 4th of July.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the one where
Yeah.
you on our day 4 years ago.
I guess like 4 years ago.
4
yeah.
years ago. Yeah, you guys celebrate the gender reveal of Leo.
Yeah.
In such a
Yeah.
sweet way, and then it was it was such a beautiful transition of like seeing that video, and I remember taking that video too,
Yeah.
to then you recording my video, and then
Yeah.
like that transition for that on that same day. So I think like
Wow.
that spoke to me, and I'm so proud that you did that.
Aw.
Because even like people,
Yeah.
I think not a lot of people knew. Well, actually, I don't think anyone really.
No, it's a lot harder to connect the dots on that.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, like all I knew is like I think my parents knew the significance of that day, and I know Chris did as well. But like other than
Yeah.
that, it wasn't. It was
Yeah.
just another like 4th of July.
Yeah.
But you and I also knew
But
like
it wasn't.
just that.
It tied so much
Yeah.
further into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it could have been like the day before, the day after, but the fact that it was like on 4th
The
of July
exact
too.
day, 4 years
Yeah.
apart. I love how you're like, oh, I remember taking that video, and you're right. Like you did take that video in such a beautiful moment, And then 4 years later, after I lost my husband, and I'm standing there recording your video of you doing your gender reveal, and it's just like, that's what I loved. It's really beautiful, and it's like it gave me an opportunity to like post a reel showing kind of the timeline of that, but also like it's why we do our podcast, right? Of the reason why we work so hard to heal and why we're transparent about grief and the healing journey.
And like if you haven't seen it, go back a couple of our posts on Instagram and watch it. It's a really beautiful way of showing like if grief was still there for that day for you. It was like, I know you had talked about like that morning was really rough. It's still there and present because of the significance of it, but like the beauty of it is that you were able to show up for me, and you were still able to see life and magic from that day.
And I loved it. And I was happy for you, and it was beautiful.
And like even for you on that day, that was beautiful and happy and joyful and magical as well. So like you got to witness it from a friend perspective.
So if you don't follow us, we're Courage on the Rocks on Instagram. So join us. So today we're still following the theme of healing, and the theme today is what happens when your fears come true. Right? I think so many of us have fears naturally. I know before I lost Jorge, I had a lot of anxiety, I had a lot of fears of what if this happened, what if that happened. But I am literally an example of my biggest fear happening and then having all these fears after that, but then having to face those. And so we're going to look back at the past 2 years, 2.5 years of what it's like to be faced with the thing that scares you the most. And then to overcome that and continue having to face those fears and what that's like. And
learn little lessons along the way of why some of those fears shape us who we are.
So it's interesting. So earlier this week, Liana had shared a moment with me that was vulnerable, but it was something that I very much experienced as a wife and mother, and I think it's a really good segue. So do you mind sharing?
It was a couple nights ago. Chris and I were sleeping, and I just like, maybe it's because I'm pregnant or being emotional and like all of these things are happening in my life right now. I just had this like gut-wrenching feeling of like what would happen to me, or how would I live if Chris was not here? Like, how could I possibly move on? And I could not stop crying. And like, he was holding me and calming and soothing me down. Eventually I like fell asleep from the crying because I was just tired of it. Because I was like, I can't deal with this, you know? But
best case scenario.
Right? When you just fall asleep of just knocking yourself out of exhaustion. It just this huge weight of dread and like huge amount of fear. And I think also like that stems from the fact that like we're about to bring a child into this world, and I cannot understand, like my brain's not wrapped around understanding what would happen if I lost the father of my child, you know? And so I had shared it with Mariah because like I knew we share vulnerability for a reason. And it's interesting that you had tapped in. You were talking about how you were like, honey, you're my friend. You experienced that. You know, I experienced it from a friend point of view as watching you lose this devastating thing. And how you have resilience over it and worked through it, and but it's still that fear of like sat with me during that night. That was really scary for me.
It's really scary, and like I think if you're anyone listening to the podcast and you're married or you have a child, or maybe you're just really close with your parents, I don't know, you have those feelings of, oh my God, like I don't think I could live without this person, like if I lost them, right? And like when I was like, I met Jorge when I was 18 years old, I had that feeling my whole relationship with him. I was like so in love, and was so afraid that something would happen to him. Right? And it's a normal thing, but then it's like, well, what happens when it comes true?
Yeah.
You know?
And I think that's what part that scared me the most is like understanding that like you had this beautiful love for a long time and that it was taken away so abruptly, so suddenly without, you know, control at all. And I think for me it's like, oh my God, what would that happen? Like, what if that happens to me? You know?
Well, it's not funny, but I find it funny because we're driving to work and she's like, I just gotta tell you, and she tells me, you know, that she had this whole experience the night before, and I just look at her and I'm like, you're best friends with me. Like, you're going to have this, and it's probably gonna happen more than once because you saw it happen to someone so close to you, right? So it's hard to then like detach from that, right? Because you're like, well, if it happens to her, it could happen to me, right?
Yeah, because any other normal situation, if you don't know anything about us, you know, we're just two random people, like that's so random, that's unlikely. The possibility of that is like 1 in a million, right? But like we were that 1 in a million situation.
I mean, the stats, like the odds of that happening to Jorge just alone, are incredibly slim. Like winning the lottery, in a really shitty way. So we're gonna talk about kind of what it's like to have
those fears.
Which we all have. You know, I did lose my husband, completely unexpected. He had a brain aneurysm. There was literally nothing we can do, even though we fought for a long time. But I still have those fears, right? I have the fear of, you know, like if I get married again, like, am I just setting myself up for that again, right? But more presently, I have well, what if something happened to Leo, right? And like I have a lot of anxiety with that, because he's really the primary reason why I fought so hard to heal, was because I wanted him to have a good life regardless of what had just happened to us. So I'm constantly like really trying to navigate that, and I navigated it a lot better now because I've worked so hard on healing and finding those coping mechanisms that it doesn't hinder me the way that like it would have hindered me before I had lost Jorge, right? Which is interesting. So like I'm really good at like if those thoughts are coming in, I know immediately to stop it and how to stop it and how to work through it.
How like worst terrible situation, like how do you stop your brain from having those thoughts? Because like for me, I think it came on so fast, like I just don't know like the skills to like calm myself down. So like if you have those thoughts about Leo, like how did you calm yourself down?
So there's kind of twofold. One is it takes a lot of practice, right? So like I can do it now, right? But like right when I had lost Jorge, I couldn't stop the PTSD and like the trauma reminders from flooding in. Like I could be driving and then this thought comes to my head, and then immediately it's like my body is placed back in that moment. Like I could remember the room, I could remember the smell, I can remember all of it. And so like that's why I did EMDR therapy for a while, and it was really helpful because it teaches you, well, not just teaches you, but it literally like rewires your brain to not go 0 to 100. It just starts knocking it down, so the intensity is a lot less. But also like I've done therapy 2 days a week for like how many years since Jorge passed. Like I was in therapy before I even left the hospital, and I had to learn those skills that she taught me in order to function, have a job. Didn't want to be at a job, have an anxiety attack, and not know what to do, right? And so like we've done the breathing techniques, which we've talked about before, which is like you're going through your senses, right, and breathing. But one of the things that like I'm able to do now because I've been putting in the work and practicing is I can compartmentalize it really well, and it's like and it's not just compartmentalizing it, it's having like authority over that thing. So if it comes into my head, like this literally happened like last week, right? If it comes into my head and I can tell like, oh shoot, I can tell I'm starting to spiral, right? I literally, I think I was driving and I was like, fuck this. No, I was like, you do not get to be in my brain, right? You can get the fuck out, right? I have control. If you want to go in a box, you can stay in this box and it's locked, but you don't get to have authority over my mind, right? Like I literally will tell it, and then I'll end it with, because I saw this on a TikTok or Insta and I loved it, and then because I'm religious, right? And then I'll be like, and God doesn't allow you authority, so get the fuck out, right? And I'll be like really like kind of how I just did. I'll say it out loud, but like because I like put that extra like I just told you what to do. And you're not going to do anything different, right?
Wow.
Then it's like my body's like, get the fuck out, you know? And like, I can fill that space. You take control, right?
Yeah.
And it's not, I really wish this was in my head. Oh my God, I don't know what to do. What would I do?
Yeah.
It's no.
You tell yourself.
No, right? And I'm not telling myself though.
Yeah.
I'm telling that thought. Of absolutely not, right? And I think part of it is also, I was with Jorge for 10 years. I grew up during that time having that anxiety, and you know how you spiral, and then your brain's like, well, what would I do? And then you almost like imagine yourself like, I would do this, or I would be like this,
and
right?
all these different scenarios.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So I did that, and I literally watched it come true.
Yeah.
I watched him die. I watched having to be a mom. You know, I watched myself having to respond and then be in the public. And it was so true to what I envisioned I would be like.
Oh, God.
And that terrifies me of either I knew myself so well or in some way did I help make this happen. And I know that's not true. But that ensures now that I have so much authority when that pops in my head, I'm like, absolutely not, we're done. I don't even give it time anymore.
Power over that thought.
I do.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a really good way of like a different way of looking at that thought. Because I think I associate like when I have thoughts, it's me. I'm the one creating that. So then like if I'm the one creating that in my mind,
what's
like
wrong
how
with me?
like how can I have this awful feeling about my partner who's right next to me, right? Or like about something that like it's not even like gonna happen, you know, like I want to say that, like it's not, but again, like having it as a separate thought, as a separate entity in which you can control it, saying like, because you're right, like it could come out of nowhere. It could be driving, it could be teaching, you're in the middle of checking your email, you can those pops.
Oh, anywhere. Another one that my therapist taught me, which is think of someone you don't like, right? Like someone in your past, you're like, fuck that bitch, right? Or you can just call it a Karen, right? Because Karen's like the so it comes in and you're like, not today, Karen.
I like
not right now. You're like, I'm in a meeting. I'm going grocery shopping. You can have time later. Right?
You can come back later.
Right? Get the fuck out, Karen. Nobody wants you here, right?
Nobody wants you here right now.
Don't take it as a you thing.
And it's just a thought thing.
It's a thought thing. And like for me, spirituality also helps because like God only wants good for us. He only wants us to feel good and feel love and all of those things, right? So when I think of this thing that like tries to enter into my spirit, like my mood, who I am and can affect me so strongly, I'm like, enemy, right? And I'm like,
Satan?
I'm like,
get the fuck
that's the enemy. You do not have authority to come near me. And I'm like, God doesn't allow you here. Get out, right? And it actually helps my mind.
Wow.
You should try it.
I was gonna say I definitely need to try that one. That was really good.
Yeah.
A nice, really good, just a little like a nugget of ideas and thought for someone who's just could be spiraling for any reasons, you know.
Well, like the brain is so powerful, and like I
knew
that, but then when I went into such a deep, dark space and grief, like I knew like one, like I said yes to antidepressants because like God, we're powerful, but man, is the brain powerful, and like we need help sometimes, right? And like like we feel like we have no control sometimes.
Yeah.
Right. And
because it's like this all-consuming, like this thing that just happened.
Right.
You know?
And then we personalize it and then internalize when
to me.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
done to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
I am the cause of the culprit.
I am like this. Why do I think like this? Why do I have to blah blah blah? Right.
Why is
but
my
it's
brain
like
wired this
whoa,
way?
whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah.
Right. It's take yourself out of it for a minute, right? You're not the one causing yourself harm, right? And just say, not today. I don't want to deal with that today. I'm okay.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Get out of here.
Get
you
out.
do not have permission.
That's it.
Our
Get
Father
out,
who art in heaven.
Get holy water. Get out. Seriously, go back to church. Get some holy water.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you for that strategy.
You're welcome. Yeah. Yeah. Let us know how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think also like owning that power.
Yeah,
Just
we have power.
Yeah, power over
We
brain.
have power.
Yeah.
And like when we think of these things of like, at the end of the day, did I have power when Jorge died? No. Did I have power to how he died? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Did anybody? Nope. That was such a divine thing in its nature. But do I have power in my response?
Yeah.
100%. Right? And like we have to remember that.
Yeah. That's a good one. I know we had talked about a little about one of your fear for like raising Leo alone.
Yeah.
But is there at any point that you knew that you could do it?
I think recently.
Yeah.
Right. I think for a while, like I had a lot of support from family, and it's the reason why one of the main reasons why I didn't just drown. Right. Is I was able to heal and cope and climb and box and find all these things and do therapy because I had such a strong support system.
Yeah.
And after about a year and a half, I was able to like actually breathe on my own, right? And so like I learned that I didn't have to rely on people so much, and so I started putting it back on my plate slowly. Just recently, as of like it's been maybe 5 months at this point, that I've like learned like, oh, I can do it because I'm doing it now, right? It wasn't all at once, and that in itself is a massive privilege. It was just a gradual thing of like, okay, and then now it's like I am with Leo 24/7. I control everything. I am not relying on other people, and it was really scary at first, but now like I know I can do it, and it makes me feel really good. I know when it comes to dating, like, I guess not specifically dating, but like, I want Leo to have good role models and like a father figure. And so that for me is like raising him alone. It's like, well, but then I'm not providing that to him. And that for me is such a hard concept because I do believe in a nuclear family. And I do believe that a boy needs a father and a good father figure and someone who's really strong in that. And he doesn't deserve to have his biological dad taken away from him and then for him to grow up without that. So that's why like I've been really focused on ensuring he gets that at a pace that is really natural for both of us
and safe for
both of us,
for the both of you.
Yeah.
I think that would have been my next question for you is like what's next? What does it look like for Leo? And like what is something that you have been working on for yourself, but is there something that like you need help with, an area that you probably, and you tapped in a little bit about that father figure, because although we don't like to admit it, but there are some gender roles that cannot be filled by a mother. You know, there's some roles that, like, you're right, like, when you're raising a daughter, it's going to be different than when you're raising a son.
It really is, yeah.
Just because biologically and genetically and hormonally, like, the boys need something different than girls do.
They do.
And I think the same thing's going to be of our daughter. Like, she's going to need something so much different from her dad than versus from me.
Yeah, and I do believe like mothers are nurturers. Like God, that is what we were built for.
Yeah.
And children need that for a while, especially boys need that for a while. They need that from their moms.
You need that emotional connection.
But at the same, on the parallel, they're also getting the other things from their dad, right? And it tends to often be more structure, maybe, right?
Yeah.
Discipline looks very different between a dad and a mom.
Yeah.
And both can be really well, but that doesn't mean they look the same.
Yeah.
Or you know, is received the same.
Yeah.
Right? And so one of the things that I've found is, like, am I raising Leo really well alone? Absolutely. But do I see myself, like, do I see certain things missing because I'm doing
struggling
it alone?
in certain areas?
Yeah, because I'm only one person, and it's so overwhelming, and I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
Right?
You're never off.
I'm never off.
There's no tag team to be
There's
like.
no tag team, right?
There's you.
Yeah, there's just me, and then I'll have moments where I'm like, okay, like I'm about a red line, I'm about to have my breaking point, and so I can't pass off to anybody.
Yeah.
So I have to
because you're
I have to find ways to kind of soothe that, right? But the more I am with Parker, and the more we're a unit, it's been really interesting to watch. As like when Parker's like, oh, I can, like, he can sense me like getting frustrated. Yeah. And he so easily steps in, right? Like we were literally out to pizza last night, and it was late, and Leo was getting really energetic for some god no reason. Like I don't understand it.
Like a zoomies.
It's like 9 o'clock and it's legit zoomies.
Like dogs getting zoomies.
And I was like getting frustrated, and we're in a nice restaurant, and I was like, I pulled out my phone. I was like, I was literally saying like, Leo, go ahead and sit down. Right, because I just wanted him to sit still and not move and just like stay calm. Yeah. And Parker's like, whoa, not yet. Hold on, right? We can do this. And then he like pulls out like this game and starts being creative on how we can, you know, get Leo to be calm but engaged. And that happened like 5 times over the weekend, right? And it's like, it's these moments that I don't realize outside of it. But when I'm with him, I realize like, oh, I can't ask for help. I don't have to redline. I don't have to like, you know, do TV or here's an ice cream. So please get in the shower now for God's sakes. Right?
No bribery needed.
I don't have to do that because I have another person who's regulated. And isn't tapped out. And so there's a balance. And like, I see benefits with Leo with that. I see balance. You know, connection, like there's a lot. And so like, I was very aware that I can only do so much, but because of that, we're limited, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And we are stronger when there's more of us.
Yeah, absolutely. I think also that's a really good segue into the next topic conversation we were talking about for fears was, and I know like when we had gone to Italy, we had this small conversation about like the possibility of even dating. You know, like dating after this huge loss and dating as like a single mom. What does that look like now? What was that fear like for you, like a year ago versus now?
Oh God, a year ago, astronomical.
What was that fear? Please tell. You got to give some juicy details because like
it's no, she's my best friend. I say that.
No, but it's like you're 16 again. You know?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think when it comes to me dating through grief or after loss, that's its own series of juicy, oh my God, details. But I agree. I mean, there's a moment where she just encouraged me to download like an app, right? A dating app. And I was like, oh, okay. It was just more like for fun in my head. I just wanted to see what was out there.
But I was like, at some point you need to rip off the Band-Aid, but in a safe environment way, in a way that like you have control of. And I feel like for the app one, it's so easy for you to control of like, the fuck? I'm deleting this. Like,
you know
I'm not
it's
even.
It's easy for you to control, but it was also like, I didn't understand of like, oh, I just wanted to see, but then like, that it could easily turn into like, okay, well, let's go on a date. And I just remember just going on and like there was one person that I'd say like he ended up being really, really cute. HOT, like wow. And we were gonna go on a date and it was all cool until he's like, oh, so like let's meet up. Do you want to go out? Like, out tonight, right? Or something. And I just legit, Liana's laying next to me, and I just start screaming like a 16-year-old girl. And I was like, hot, like all hot in the face. I was sweating, like dripping, like my body reacted. I already felt like I had bubble guts. I was gonna shit my pants.
Like, she didn't even reply back.
No, the nerves went from 0 to through the roof. I was like, I wasn't supposed to meet someone. I was just supposed to look. It was like I was window shopping, Liana. Like, what the fuck, right? My anxiety, it was intense. I mean, I did look like a 16-year-old girl. You did. I saw she was watching me, and I could tell from her perspective of like, what the fuck? Did she just break? Like, Mariah just broke in front of me. Like,
yeah, but I think it's also really sweet because it's such a whole different world of like dating from when you were 18 and dated. Yeah. You know, it's so different. It's like with Jorge, it was one of those like a Hallmark movie. Like we met at college class and like our pinkies touched, right? The air blew in his face. You know, like just cliche things that's just sweet when you're 18 and you're supposed to have that. And like love, some people think about like, God, wouldn't that be great if everybody found love at 18 and like that was their lifestyle? But that's not the reality we live in. No. And I am a perfect example of that. That was not my reality. So I think when I was watching you, when we were stepping into this, even the thought of it, when we're in Italy in the summer after Italy, we're like, just the thought of like, what is that going to be like? And then the first like you realize people liked you, like just the image of you, and you were like, oh my God, people like me. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, who are these people on here? Right? Like, it's just crazy.
Yeah, I wanted to vomit immediately.
And delete. Yeah. Like, no, you gotta give a chance. It was just one night. Try 29 years of it, okay? Just one.
True, right? Yeah, 29 years of it. And then I had one night and I'm in the bathroom.
She's like, I'm done. No more.
Seriously. Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, it was both a crazy excitement and also I'm so nervous. I feel like I can die right now. Yeah. And I don't know if I want to do that. Yeah. And then going on my first date, that was fucking terrifying. But I like dug deep and I was like, this is going to be good for me. And I did it. And it had, obviously had to do with, I needed to overcome that. But also happened to him being rock climbing. So it had a whole other beautiful revelation with it. Yeah. To then, a year later going to Yosemite with Parker, who I'm in a very committed relationship with, and feeling so comfortable and feeling really safe. And, I talk about it with my therapist all the time. Is like, I'm like, okay, we're 5 months in, going on 6 months, like, and I look at her, I'm like, we didn't get this far in my training.
Was not in the manual.
I'm like, we didn't get this far. What do I do now? Right? It's scary. So when like something comes up, or if I'm working through a bit of grief, or like, I'm like, I haven't got this far. I don't know what I'm doing. And so like I have to work through it a little bit.
So I think my question for you, because I know we have a couple of our listeners and some people that are new to it, if they have gone through loss and grief and stuff, like what's the one advice you would give them to be in a position where you're at, to find that commitment again and find that that long-term relationship again? What advice would you have for someone who went through loss?
One is like, I don't think that I would be where I'm at right now and in a very healthy, loving relationship that I feel very whole in if I hadn't actually put the attention on myself to heal. That took a lot of time, an unreal amount of effort, a lot of uncomfortability to sit in really shitty spaces and shitty feelings. And to ask for help and to learn the strategies and implement those and to choose me, even though I was a mother, right? I still chose me because I knew if I did that, I would be able to give to everything around me. But if I had just jumped in a relationship without that, I wouldn't be in a healthy relationship. And I learned this because when I first started dating, I would match, and I'm like, okay, these are my requirements, and I would listen to what they're saying. I'm like, oh, this matches. But then it would take me a little bit in that relationship to understand, like, oh, this actually, like, this is kind of unhealthy.
Yeah.
And I thought it was unhealthy because of me, because I was grieving, so it would naturally be hard. But then I realized, no, I'm actually not the problem. They're unhealthy.
Yeah.
But like, if you can't differentiate between that, which when you're in grief, your brain is like just bogged down. It's so hard to think clearly. It's just like smog, and like it's just really hard to see.
And I think you would also like just connect everything back to grief.
You do connect it back to grief, right? But then I had a therapist, so I'd be like, hey, this is what's going on, this is what I'm feeling, let's talk about it. And then we'll talk about it, and a week later I'm like, okay, this is still happening, right? And like having people on your team who are helping you, right, to help see through things. Like,
they're like, no, that's not grief.
No,
that's the red flag in you.
Yeah, there were red flags. I was like, oh, maybe I'm the red flag, right? Maybe it's this piece of grief that's a red flag. But because I put the right people in my circle, I chose myself, I was actively healing myself, I was able to figure out what the red flags were. And you literally said this earlier this week, was like, you were impressed by my way of how quickly and good I was able to filter out people through the process to get to like someone who's like perfect for me right now. You know?
Yeah, someone who's matching everything that you need to be a safe person. Yeah, that's really interesting.
And then the caveat there is like, so I do all of that. That doesn't mean like, okay, love.
Yeah, I was gonna say
and I'm gonna be totally fine.
Like what is it like that to love someone again, or bring someone in on that fold of that relationship again? Like, what fear do you have for that?
So I feel like at first it was like, okay, I just gotta date. I just have to like fill this out, right? And then you fill it out, and then it's like, okay, now I'm looking for something a little bit more serious. And then you kind of, fill that out, and then like, bam, like, I'm like, okay, like, I'm with Parker, right? Parker, there is future, right? But there's a moment where like, well, this stopped being just dating, and this is more like, okay, love is here. And that love word is being used, right? And then it's like, those are two different things, dating and then being in a relationship where you actively love someone, you choose to get in that boat with them and stay in the boat with them, right?
But I think also like what we're trying to get at is like, with the love that's coming in is the opportunity that loss can also come in as well, right?
Oh, it's so fluid.
Yeah.
Like, it's incredibly permeable. Like, it's back and forth 24/7. So like right now is like, I very much feel love for Parker, right? Have I said it? No. It's completely terrifying, and that's not because I don't love him. It's because grief is there. And then that grief is like a really shitty like friend, right? Who constantly reminds me of,
like,
well, what if he dies, or well, what if he cheats? What if he X, Y, and Z, right? The whole what ifs, right? Which is just a fucking bag of shit, right? But when you've experienced grief to the level that I've experienced it, right? It is really hard to open your heart back up again and be like completely vulnerable. And that's the journey I'm on. Is it's a slow one, and he understands that. He's very much like goes at my pace, which is incredibly respectful. Knowing that it's not because I don't love him, right? It's hard for me to verbalize things right now, because then it's like out in the world, and then it scares me because I think, well, what if something comes back to hurt me, right?
Yeah, I think it goes back to like that Taylor Swift song, "The Love of My Life" is also the loss of my life. And I think that like, as someone in your position as well, like, you have that, you have to have that fear because you had that love and you also had that loss. So like the ability for you to open yourself up, and now it's not just the loss for you, it's the loss for Leo again. And it's like the idea that like he could lose another person in his life. So then like navigating all of that and all that fear talk again is just, it's
its own process, right? But at the end of the day, it's like, so then do you not let yourself love or be loved, or even give Leo the opportunity to have an amazing father, right? Because of that fear, right? So
like all the things that you could hold yourself back to if you just sat into that grief and sat
but
into
also
that.
like how many things are we holding ourselves back from right now?
Yeah.
Right, because we're afraid.
Because you're afraid.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's very much in my head of like I'm working on it because I want to get to a point where like I am so comfortable and happy and just exhilarated to just exude out that love and be transparent and show the world.
Yeah.
But there's still a part of Mariah who's very afraid.
Yeah.
And she's learning to slowly step out and know that it's okay.
Yeah. And learning to find find safety in people.
Yeah, safe. Yeah.
Yeah, safety in people, and learning that like you have resilience and you have courage, and that like you will still work through all of that.
Yeah. And that good still happens.
That girl. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like even though this terrible thing happened to you, it doesn't mean that you're a terrible person.
Oh,
or
totally.
That you just are doomed to have terrible things happen in your life.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
You know? I
totally.
feel
like that can spiral.
Oh yeah. And you and I have seen it in people who have lost Jorge, who just can't get out of it.
Yeah.
And as much as we want to love and support them,
we
can't sit in that with them because that would just drown us.
Yeah.
And you and I have worked way too hard to not have that loss be all-consuming life event, because again, what generational things where we talked about as well, like if it's all-consuming for you, it's going to be all-consuming for Leo for the rest of his life. So like what is the quality of his life if he has that kind of pressure from mom, you know?
Totally.
So
yeah,
wow, what a fear. I think the last fear that we want to talk about, we did make a note of it, something that we're both going through right now. Little itty bitty of it. Family fears, family and relationship fears. I think I will speak on my family because I've experienced it, something a little bit before you had experienced it now, right? Relationship and families and siblings, the dynamics of it. It's so fluid, but it's so
it's fragile.
Yeah. And it's like in a blink of an eye of an event, a situation, a comment, something could just 180 a whole family dynamic. And I think for us, for my fear of it is like letting that blend or bleed into the family that I'm creating.
Yeah.
You know, like a learning and try not to have that, but also having this like little slight fear that like, God, if my siblings or my parents are ever like that, then like, is that possibility of like my nuclear family having something like this happening? You know, like having that control of it or lack of control of it.
I think that's where like coming back to taking authority of your life, right? Because I think when you see it, you really tend to be proactive on doing your best and not let that happen.
Yeah.
Right? And I feel like I kind of took that approach when I had Leo and Jorge, and you know, you build the best life you can in that moment, right? And then like, you know, Jorge passed away. Our family just got really fragmented just because of loss. And then we're adding in a Parker. Like I'm literally dating someone, and I don't date to date, I date for marriage, right? So like for me, I'm sitting here not just like thinking about like, oh, my siblings and stuff, but I'm thinking about like just Leo and like Parker and myself and like what that family, you know, looks like. But then like, how do you do that when you have in-laws and they're not Parker's family? They're Jorge's family, right? I have in-laws. And then I have my family, and my entire side and in-laws are still working through grief, right? And it's entirely fragmented, right? But I just think of, and I know this, it's what happens in the home, which is the most important piece. And then like making sure you're exposing your child to good people, right? Who have similar values, right? But I guess my only focus right now is like what happens in my little nuclear unit. And like I want Leo to know, like grow up like like so safe and just comfortable and really just totally fine with being in our nuclear unit
Yeah.
and not needing all these external things, right? We'll expose him to that, right?
Yeah.
But he doesn't need it. He's not sourcing for that
Well,
thing.
he's not dependent on it.
No,
Yeah.
because he's getting everything he needs from that bubble,
Yeah.
right? And imagine that's what you want for your daughter,
Yeah.
right? She gets everything from you
Yeah.
and dad, all the emotional support, all the different needs, all the,
Yeah.
whatever things you guys want to do. And then that's the only thing that matters.
Yeah.
And then you slowly move outside of that,
Yeah.
right? But you control the mini circle.
Yeah. I think that's something like Chris and I will work on as well, because I was so afraid of that. If it's just us three, as beautiful and magical as can be, we also know the benefit of it. So like when you do grow up with cousins and when you do get to see your aunts and uncles and your grandparents, like we understand the benefits of it. But if those relationships aren't healthy in your life, where I am right now, like, is that really going to benefit the nuclear family?
Well, what you said right now is key word, right? 5 years from now, it might be different. Things might have bended, and then like you guys get to connect more, right? Same for my family. But if the right now isn't good and it's not a safe or healthy environment for mom or for dad or for baby, then it's not the environment to be in. Right. But as we know, the future is full of opportunities. It's full of learning and healing and growing. But it's also full of not doing any of those things. And the entire thing is dependent on choice. Right?
That's true.
So I guess we'll end there with, think about the choices that you're making as we're thinking about our choices. And are they pushing you to learn and grow and heal? Or are they pushing you to not do those things and stay stagnant? Yeah. But at the end of the day, remember always choose to have courage. Sometimes it feels really empowered. And sometimes it just feels like waking up out of the day. Out of bed.
Encouraged to get out of bed.
Out of bed. Yep.
Cheers. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for tuning into Courage on the Rocks.
Until next time, hold on to your courage and we'll see you soon. Cheers!